Hey there, welcome to Tech Tip Tuesday. Hello, everybody. I'm super happy you're here. My name is Ken Close. I'm a member here within the Healy world in the United States, and I get to be joined tonight by Jake Barron, Head of Operations. Hey, Jake, how you doing?
Hey, Ken. Hello, everyone.
Howdy, howdy, howdy. And we have a live customer service agent. Anthony's in our chat room, isn't he?
That's right. Anthony's here to help.
Right on. Anthony's in the house. Whoop, whoop. All right. Hey guys, if this is your first time to Tech Tip Tuesday, well, welcome. I'm super glad you're here. We are here to serve. If you've been here before, then you know the deal. But let me tell you how it works. This is a chat-based forum where you bring all questions, Healy, technical that is, into the chat. Type them up, post them up in there, and we will collaborate to answer those questions and expand upon the understanding. What we can't do is we don't treat, diagnose, prevent, or even chat about any kind of diseases or disorders. Okay, just a disclaimer there. We're not doctors or physicians or practitioners in that respect. We just want to be sure that you're able to use your Healy in its proper form. So that's what we're here for. And so go ahead and start light up that chat room there with your questions. And how about we get started, huh, Jake?
Sounds good.
All right. So, and of course, if you don't have any questions in there, we'll probably talk about some stuff. We got today is August 1st, by the way. So brand new month and a brand new launch of a new app. So here's a good spot to talk about that. So Izzy says, I'll start. What percentage does the yellow battery icon in the new blue app represent? So color coded. Good question. What is that representation? Is there a percentage associated with the color from green to yellow to red?
Yeah, I'm actually not 100% sure. I know the percentage, I believe, is not listed anymore because we talked about this in the past. It's not an exact measurement of the battery in there. So I can understand why having the percentage there could be a little bit misleading at times. But the new app manual is available. I have not actually checked to see if there's an explanation in there regarding that.
There was a lot of questions about, the percentage thing and how it could change drastically in numbers. And so it makes sense that a color coded kind of system would be a little bit better. But let's see if we can find some stuff on that. We're kind of looking in the background here. Let's see. So Lindley says, since the last update, with around 10 minutes ago while running the pink dot, the hertz kept changing, but there was no percentage displayed. Do you know why? So in other words, talking about percentage of progress, right? Because there's different phases in the way that the microcurrent or pink dot app works, different phases. And the last phase is more around the energetic or energetic body and less progress reporting. There is actually a video in our academy, kind of talks about those different phases. We'll see if we can find that.
Yeah, it's in the very first section of the Healy app manual. It talks about the different real-time selection and resonance modes.
Yeah, that last phase, the resonance mode, it's your progress report is given during the early part, or during the middle part, actually, I should say. Let's see if we got some stuff. Anthony's putting some things in there. Rita's asking about the MagHealys. Our MagHealy is fully charged, but it won't will not turn on. It does not light up unless it is on the charger. While it's on the charger, it will connect into the apps. Of course, it's essentially on when it's on the charger. We remove it and it doesn't look like it's operating. So, you know, the charging phase. So Anthony put in here talking about is the light blinking when you put it on that charging pad. So the pad itself is the actual induction between the MagHealy and the power. However, the cord, the adapter you plug into the wall, if it's a very light duty adapter, it may not actually engage the charging. So some of these adapters are very low current. When I say low current, I'm talking about, you know, 500 milliamps or half an amp. You need a beefier charger. I think the minimum on those is at 2,500.
I mean, 2 amp is the minimum recommendation, but we've found that not all 2 amp chargers work great for the MagHealy. So there's certainly some differences among those 2 amp chargers. We found most people, if they did have any sort of charging issue, moving up to one of the fast charger, the 3 amp chargers has solved it in most of those cases. So that's certainly worth a try, and those are available for, you know, they're very inexpensive these days on just Amazon or pretty much anywhere you can get something like that. But that's certainly something to try to see if it hasn't actually been charging the MagHealy, which is why when you take it off, you know, it's not working.
Yeah, the 2,500 milliamp, that's 2.5 amps, and as Jake was saying, 3 amps is just another step higher than that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that minimum threshold, I would love to see it say 2,500 milliamps as a minimum threshold when it comes to the adapter that plugs into the wall. But again, and some of the, like for instance here, let's see, Rita comments that it was working fine since September. So some of the times, again, a charger could last for years and it could last for a month. Just to do some diagnostics would be to change or try a different adapter that goes in the wall to see what happens. That's probably the most common failure, is actually what's powering the charger as opposed to the MagHealy. The most common thing has to do with the actual AC adapter that plugs into the wall. Okay.
You could try that. You could try also changing the charging cable itself. If you do get a new wall charger, you could try a USB-C to USB-C rather than USB-C to USB-A, and just kind of rule that out while you're at it too.
Yeah, the reason manufacturers change these types of cords is because of some of the longevity. I mean, you know, some of the early USBs have been going to smaller and smaller USB-C and B, but these devices are getting smaller and smaller in terms of their casing, and so the charging port needs to be smaller. And so they, you know, sometimes these manufacturers are playing around with different designs to see which one is the most, I don't know, has the most longevity or the most dependency. So the USB-C is our latest. Okay. Here's a question. Is the MagHealy like the Healy, where you should let the battery totally run down, then charge the battery fully before using it again? The best adapter that I have for my MagHealy is to plug into my computer. Depends on the computer output power. But to answer your question about the battery, the battery charge and discharge cycle, a battery is designed for that exact purpose, is to charge and discharge fully. So those are called charge cycles. Let's say that you have a maximum of 500 charge cycles on a battery. Now that's whether you run it down 50% and then charge it back up to 100%, or run it all the way down to 0 and back up to 100%. If you only have 500 as a total, and you're using up some of those in only half capacity of discharge. In other words, you're only using your Healy for a couple hours, or the MagHealy only for a couple hours, or even anything with a rechargeable battery. If you're only using it down to half capacity, you're only getting X number of amount of time out of that battery. So, and yet you're using up one of the charge cycles. So in order to maximize the amount of time you're going to get out of your device that has that battery in it, you'll want to run it all the way down to dead and then charge it all the way back up. And that way you get the maximum amount of time used out of each session, each charge cycle. Because there is a limited number of charge cycles on every battery. Everything has a life expectancy. So it's best to go all the way down and then all the way up each time, just to get the maximum amount of time of use out of your device. Does that make sense? It's the same scenario when it comes to a smartphone or a Bluetooth speaker or earbuds or anything that has a battery in it. Even your car is a little bit different because that battery has a much bigger capacity. These smaller capacity batteries, which is like everything from hearing aids to the Healy, they don't really get a lot of they don't have a lot of storage capacity, so you want to maximize what they have in time. All right. Let's see. Marjorie's asking how to charge male to male. So I'm assuming you're talking about the USB-C. On the MagHealy, it's got the socket to plug in the USB-C. On a device that plugs into the wall, an AC adapter, it's also going to have the same type of plug. And so you'd have essentially a male to male cord that would plug into the AC wall adapter and plug into the MagHealy. It's the same end on both ends, and the receiver port is the same on each. So that makes sense.
Oh, she's talking about in the Analyse 2 app. So some of the data, like your address and stuff like that, is
changed
pre-populated from our system. So if when you enrolled, if there was a glitch or something like that, where there was the sex was incorrectly
put in,
put in there, right now it won't let you change it. So let make a note of there's a couple things like this. You know, the app is today's launch day. It's brand new. Even though there's been beta testing for a while, some of these things, of course, you know, will be worked out over the next couple of weeks. I'm sure there'll be updates on a regular basis for this brand new app. But I will follow up on that to see if that's something that we can just change in the app to be editable by the user itself. So.
We were just talking about charging cords, and I thought you were talking about the cord.
Yeah, that's what I thought at first, because we were talking about all the different charging.
Talking about the how to change the gender in the app. I get it. All right. So yeah, that's a good point, though. I mean, there's certain things we just don't come up when you're beta testing something. You know, it's like I love it.
So there actually is. You know, it could be that nobody commented on this during the beta testing, but there is still, even in the brand new app, a feedback feature. So things like this, anything that you see, you can go ahead and use the feedback section. It's in the settings. You can go ahead and actually submit that. And our product development team, you just go to settings, and then there's a send feedback, and you can pick the kind of category, if it's an idea, general feedback, other, a problem, and you can put that in there just as we go. It certainly helps. You know, the more people that mention it, the better. But
Izzy said that she did that on the 16th. Right on.
Okay. Well, good.
All right. Good job. Thank you for using the tools. That's awesome. Let's see. Did we miss anything? In terms of that battery percentage, we're still looking to see what the color coordinations or the color.
Yeah, I don't think it's listed in the new manual. I didn't see that. But.
If you look at it logically, so typically these color coded systems are because there's 3 of them, it's going to be in thirds, right? So you're going to have green is 1/3,
Mhm.
Yellow is the next third, and red would be the last third. And so you'd be 33, 33, 33% essentially, right? So the range between fully charged with 100% down to say 73%, right? Within the green, and then so on, do the math on down to 0%. Where does the red start to represent? And that's going to be that 33% to 0 will be the red. And then the yellow will be that center section. That's just logic. That's how most of them work. Remember, this is not really sensing the battery itself in the MagHealy or in the Healy. There's not like, we're working Bluetooth, so it's wireless between your smart device and the Healy hardware. And so it's simply doing an algorithm, mathematics to calculate based on the typical duration of a battery over, and when you charge it 100% versus when it goes dead, it kind of builds a model between those two to then assign percentages. So it's not like it's sensing the battery itself. It's using an algorithm, mathematical equation. And now instead of giving a number, it's just essentially assigning a color to a block of numbers. Does that make sense? Okay. Let's see here. What else do we got? All right, so here's one. So can we please advise if it is harmful or beneficial or no significance difference if I have a Healy 2 app and someone else is running some program on the Blue Dot app? Okay. So in other words, you're running the microcurrent into the body at the same time while someone's running something from the information field, right? AKA the Blue app. So this is a good question because, it's one of those things is there a too much? Is there too much? Could there be? And when you're running microcurrent into the body, you probably, if you ever see me on these calls, I'm mostly going to be connected via the microcurrent in most cases. Just because that is actually sending electron flow into my body to really give one of the strongest, I think, I mean, that's not the most influential shift into my biology. So that's the most influential, is a microcurrent. The magnetic transmission, aka the MagHealy and the Healy with the coil on it, those are magnetic transmissions. Those are a different modality, a different mode of operation within the body, and a little more subtle than the microcurrent. And then the final phase is the information field influence, aka the Blue Dot, where we're working with your information field or the client's information field, whether it's an animal, a plant, a person, building, whatever. The client's information field. The information field is a signature of energy. And this exists within the quantum field. And then Healy is entangled with that signature of you or the client, and then sends information to that entangled entity, right? Essentially frequency energy. So that's the least invasive, or I should say the most subtle way of influencing these bodies or any form of energy, but we're talking about our bodies. So if you're running the information field, aka Blue Dot, it's a very subtle influence. And then if you're running microcurrent, it's a much less subtle, a more influential influence. So you're doing two things at once. And I'm always saying, people, pay attention to your body. You are the end result judge and jury of what's going on with you. So pay close attention. And sometimes the side effects are like detox. If you're getting a little bit too much, it's gonna be like a detox side effect, meaning you could have some aches and pains, some stiffness, some headaches, even irritability, emotional outbursts, things like that. Those are possibilities of a little bit too much, and then you just need to back it off. But it's not like you're going to have, I won't say not going to have, most likely won't have big significant side effects, but some people are very sensitive to energy and need to pay attention to that. I do multiple modalities at the same time. In fact, I'll run multiple Healys on me, one running the coil, one running the microcurrent, or the MagHealy and the Healy running the microcurrent. But I pay attention. I hydrate. I move my body. I ground my body. I do things which I call the self-care protocol, to make sure that we are taking care of this body. So, but yeah, to your question, it is beneficial. It is beneficial, and but not harmful is a matter of opinion. When somebody feels stiff and achy, they may feel that's harmful. Others may feel like, yep, I'm getting an effect, and now I can have some tangible evidence. So personally, I don't think that's harmful. All right. Let's see, since the Analyse 2 app launched today, can we talk about it a bit? Well, there is going to be a Healy for beginners and beyond coming up this week.
Yeah, Ken, let me just share something real quick here. Well, since you asked.
Since you asked, we can talk about it.
Yeah. So this is on Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. We are going to discuss exactly what you're talking about. So this is the big deal, launch day, Analyse 2 app. We've been waiting for this. It's been years in the making. We've talked about that a little bit, and Mark Whitman's talked about that many times. 6-7 years really in the making here. And then also a lot of us have been beta testing this for the last 6+ months. And today is the day that it's here. Everybody can go and download this app via either the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. It's available. Just search for Heal Advisor Analyze app or Analyse 2. It'll pop up. It looks like what you see on the screen here, that icon. But we're going to talk about everything. We're not going to go super deep into all these topics because there's so many just general things we want to cover first. So we're going to talk about what you need to know, because a lot of people have been on the beta version. Well, now there's a live version. Do you need to do anything different? Can you keep using the beta version? The new single sign-on process, for those of you that haven't been through that yet, you notice it's a different way when you log in. It's kind of it takes you to a different site, and then of course migrating clients from the old app to the new app. The new manual. It's always important to know how to access that new manual, which is available in the app itself and in back office, or actually I think it's in Academy. I wasn't sure if it was in back office yet. The different plan options. We've been talking a lot about that too. Everyone right now, the existing members and customers that have the Analyze app have lifetime access to the top tier plan, the professional plan, which is unlimited, pretty much everything. Which is amazing. And even people that join between now and September 30th, if they purchase a residence edition or higher, they also get lifetime access for free to the professional plan. And that's a $200 a year value going forward. So certainly a nice selling point for anyone that's kind of been on the fence of if they wanted to buy a Healy or not, because there's going to be an added value for sure. Some of the advanced settings, demo mode is a little bit different in the new Analyze app as well. And just we'll highlight again some of the just key differences between the two apps. And then on future Healy for Beginners and Beyond, we'll dive into a little bit more, maybe go do one just on the Aura module or the coaching module and that kind of stuff. But we'll get through as much as we can tomorrow. And then the plan right now is to have the next Healy for Beginners and Beyond, I believe. The schedule right now says August 17th, but I believe we're going to do that on August 24th instead. But we'll announce that well in advance. But for anybody that has not registered for this yet, you just go to healyfbb.com and it'll register for you for the one on Thursday, and then also for the future ones as well automatically. And you can scan that QR code at the top right of the screen as well. It'll take you right to the page to register. But yeah, we're looking forward to just kind of talking a little bit about everything. And certainly answer as many questions as we can in the chat as well. So, and Anthony will be helping out again also. So the same crew you have here will be helping out on Thursday.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun. I mean, those are always a great deep dive, especially we have it's more of a structured agenda,
Yeah.
so we try to stay in there, right?
Yep.
We're here.
And of course, it'll be recorded. We'll put it on our YouTube channel, HealyAmericas.com, and you'll be able to go back and access that later and review everything too. It's going to be it's going to be a lot of screenshots. So you can kind of see on the screen exactly how it looks. And then we'll actually log into the app a little bit later on the call and kind of see how it looks in real time too.
Yeah, absolutely. I like it. Okay, so let's see. Here's a question. There's a question about how to do some of the remote stuff. Izzy's got recommended going and take a look at the YouTube channel. There was a whole episode on remote. You can also, I've done a lot of that work in the past. You can actually, if you go to YouTube and just put in Ken Close Healy, you're going to see we've done some remote stuff, some coaching stuff. There's some videos there as well if you guys want to take a peek. We've done hours and hours of some training on that kind of thing. Yeah, so that's in regard to that. There's a question about the Healy doing distance transmissions. And so there is another question kind of related to that. Well, also, by the way, in terms of a protocol for a person dealing with PMS or something like that, there is a search app. The Heal Advisor search app is perfect. You go in there and put symptoms or issues in there, and it's going to pull up groupings of programs. The first grouping it pulls up are going to be the most significant, probably the most relevant, right? And then tap on that grouping, and it'll break down what programs are suggested for that condition, right? It comes with everybody's Healy, so you all have that search app. It's phenomenal. It's a great resource. Okay, so Jennifer, check that out. How do you find that? It is in this app here. That's the wavy line one, the Heal Advisor. You see one off my shoulder there. It's the wavy line app, the Heal Advisor app, this guy. So if you don't have it, go to your app store and look for the one that has this wavy line. And that's the one that's going to have that in there. All right. So there was a question here about, I saw it, but now it's gone. It's like question about how does the, I'll paraphrase, how does the system know, when we're talking about the information field, how does it know about a certain individual or client, right, within the Blue Dot app? How does anything associate with that client? If we're just looking at an app, you might be thinking, well, we're just looking at an app and we're just putting in a name and a picture and some content. How is there an association between this person and Healy and how it's doing evaluations? This is a great understanding. And we did a really cool video on quantum entanglement. Jake and I did. Wasn't that on Healy for Beginners and Beyond?
Yeah, that was the link that I put into the chat of the YouTube. It was back in March. Did a whole training on quantum entanglement, remote sessions, that kind of stuff. That'll take you right to that training. It's definitely, for this particular topic, definitely worth reviewing all that information.
Yeah, it's a fabulous understanding. So understanding quantum entanglement is it takes a bit of a stretch in one's mind because it's not physical. And Nikola Tesla said over 100 years ago that the day that science begins to study non physical phenomenon. It'll make more progress in 1 decade than it made in the previous centuries in all of its existence, because it's in the non-physical in which we make these very distinct and almost and more permanent changes. It's in the non-physical, it's in the energetic realm, and quantum entanglement is where we associate a being or a form of energy, a being, a person, an animal, a plant, a car, with the intention of the change. That is, we need to have this entanglement so that this intention for change winds up landing on the right entity. And so that's why there's a name, a time you were born, a place you were born, a picture, that content within the Blue app. It creates the GPS or the universal UPS, the universal positioning signal to that just one entity, so that nothing else in the universe fits that one destination. And that way, any frequencies or healing, I don't like to use the word healing, but alignment information is sent directly only to that one entity. So that's how the app, and then it uses the Healy through the Bluetooth to interface with that signal in the quantum field. Let me get a little bit more specific for just a second. There's a system, it's called random generators. They're digital generators that just randomly create answers, ones and zeros, right? It's a computer program, randomly creates an answer. And about 50-50 in terms of what the outcome is. If the answer is yes or no, right? On or off, 1 or 0. And it just, over billions of bits of information, just produces one outcome. So in other words, if you've ever been entered into a contest, right? And Jake, we've done this here with Healy. You've picked winners based on a text campaign, and the software is a random generator. It takes all of the entries, puts them into a big basket, and rolls it around and picks one, right? So that's the physical aspects of it, right? But it's a random generator that creates that answer. So science now shows that consciousness, our awareness, influences these random generators. In other words, we can start swaying the output to more zeros as opposed to more ones, or vice versa. Or we can even sway the random generator output towards a winner to be a specific winner. This is the consciousness that's now being found within, and how it influences technology. How many of you guys out there have said over and over again, I'm no good with computers. Electronics always break. And it's a self-prophecy, isn't it? The more you do it, the worse it gets. This is because our consciousness does influence digital circuitry. And that you can go out and look at, the science is showing how computers are influenced by our consciousness. And this is what Healy uses as part of the design parameters when it comes to entangling you, or the actual entity, with the program. Okay, so that's just a little bit deeper dive. I know you probably have more questions because of what I said. All right. Okay, so Anthony's taking care of one with the activation loading error. I saw that too, by the way. You can, anyway, you guys will get that handled, I'm sure.
So Izzy asked a question earlier. Just want to, whenever anyone has a question about contraindications, that kind of thing, we always refer people back to the app manuals and the instructions for use. And for this particular thing, yes, if someone has a history of seizures, they should not be using microcurrent stimulation. So that is listed as one of the warnings in the app manual itself. So again, we're not giving medical advice, but when it's something that's clearly called out in our documentation. Definitely don't go against that. So
let's see, there's one here, just a quick, is it possible to transfer the lists from the old Blue to the new app? No.
no, I mean, clients, clients is lucky we're able to transfer all that, because a lot of people have a ton of clients, but the actual list themselves, this is a completely new app, completely new structure, much more efficient and ready for everything that we can throw at it in the future too. So it's a matter of, sometimes these things, it would be nice and amazing, but we're gonna have to start fresh as far as lists go. So
Yeah, that's when you're transferring over, it's like, I don't know if you guys have ever done anything with database stuff, but oh my gosh, there's a lot of time when you're moving a database from one point to another, because the amount of information there's huge. And
yeah, when you notice the way that it's structured too, we'll discuss this a little bit on Thursday, but the way that the individual databases are separated now is different too. So it's much better going forward. But I guess just look at it as a clean start for everybody too. And same with, I know a lot of us that were using the beta app too, so that the data in the beta app was reset on launch day as well, because we want a clean start on launch day going forward to take a look at all of the data and the records and any error logs and that kind of stuff. So
yeah, okay. Well, we're going to cover this on Healy for Beginners. Is there a demo mode?
There is, yes. Yeah. But you don't need your master key for the new Analyse 2 app. That doesn't come up at all as part of the process. If you're having trouble logging in during the initial installation of the app, it's going to ask you, it's going to send a 6-digit code to the email address on file, which you then use to log in to the Analyse app for the first time, the Analyse 2 app. So, but there is a demo mode too. Before you even log in, on the top right of the screen, you'll see a demo icon. So yeah, we'll show that in more detail on Thursday.
So if you are seeing that master key signal for some reason, that means you haven't logged in for like, I don't know how many months.
Last year sometime, I think so.
A year, yeah,
maybe, yeah.
Because it would have asked way back when for one last time. Some people, some accounts, it didn't migrate, but some accounts, it would ask one last time for that master key. Then after that, it would be the code system from then on. But if you're still seeing it and it's asking for a master key, yeah, and if you don't have it, then the only solution is to reset cloud account, right? But I don't know. That's quite an older time.
If you still get stuck, you can just you can submit a support ticket,
Yeah.
and our team can do some things manually on our side to help get you access as well. And then also, keep in mind we're beta testing live chat on our Healy shop too. So if you go to us.healy.shop, you'll see an icon on the bottom right corner. Typically from around 9 a.m. to around 4 p.m. But it's still a beta test. We're still working through a lot of things, but that's an option for support as well.
And if you're really fast, you can support a ticket right now, get a number, and come back here and let's see what see what we can do for you. All right. Let's see. Rita says, going forward, how often should we delete our old lists? We were never told that we needed to in the past. So really, you don't have to delete your old lists, but are you using them? I mean, I like to delete stuff that I'm not using anymore, but an old list is exactly that. When the list purpose is for your healing in that present moment. And then, well, your alignment in that present moment. Then you implement that list for a period of time. I like to say, a couple of months. And then when it's done, you do a new scan and move on, get rid of the old stuff. But
yeah, I was going to say, because as I mentioned earlier, every existing member and customer that currently has access to the Analyse app will have the professional plan for free for life, and that's unlimited access to all your data history, unlimited clients. So there's nothing specifically that you have to clear out your list, after a certain period of time.
no, yeah. So the people after, well, October 1st, there's going to be the friends and family. There's going to be the 3 different plans, and that's going to be significant when how many clients you have in there, or how many
clients, and then history of the data is up to 6 months for the free and friends and family. But still, that's for most people, been not needing to go back past 6 months to run those lists. So
right. And I mean, if you're the kind of person to say that's keeping record of stuff, and you're looking over a year's journey, you can write down those lists, right? You'll have a very significant list of programs. You can write those down and use them as feedback for journaling or something like that. But our body changes. So after 6 months, yeah, you should be renewed. Okay. Let's see. Here's a question. How come the time to run the programs in the new app is different from the old? Like, you mean the default durations? I'm not sure. The time to run them. Like, I'm not sure if they're talking about like the advisor, where it sets up notifications. That's the advisor, though.
Yeah, I think this one, not everything is covered in the new app manual, but this particular question, it does explain how those times were determined. So yeah, if you can go to the new Healy app manual, then on page 18, it explains all the different times there.
So are you saying that they are, in terms of increments or something, that are different from the old app? Because I remember, you had a fraction of a second all the way up to being able to customize. I'm not sure that those are different.
Yeah, I haven't compared them side by side, but I remember I did hear someone else mention that they were like a 1 second or slightly different on there too. So.
And yeah, I haven't. I didn't do any side by sides comparison either. But the theory of that is, there's concepts on that Academy video about why you would run certain things for more often but shorter durations, or less often with longer durations.
Yeah, for anyone that's wondering what we're talking about here, again, this is on page 18 of the new app manual. And you'll see the default options are based on a formula proposed by G-Sync and Meyer, with 12 discrete frequencies per octave, the base frequency 256 hertz, which is note C in John Herschel's musical scale and used for coherence. So that's what the question was regarding. So as far as why this could be slightly different than the old one, I actually will need to follow up on that. But this in the app, it does explain why it is this way in the current one, how those were selected.
Now we know, based on the octaves. Okay. Good questions.
Yeah.
Okay. So Izzy says, yeah, they're different too. I don't know. Maybe there's some updates that was referring to those octaves.
Mhm.
Okay. Let's see what else we got. There's another suggestion. He said that requested in the feedback to bring back the slide left option to delete the list. But this new platform, essentially the Blue Dot app is on a new app-based programming platform. And so giving it more capabilities. So such as some of the intuitive things that we've learned within apps like slide left, or some of the ways that we clear things on our screens. The new app has the ability to do those kind of things where some of that wasn't possible before on the older platform. So yeah, put these suggestions in and let's tweak this.
There was a question earlier. I think, let me try to find it again. Oh, it was I don't think we covered it. Is, will we be able to run the coaching program all night without needing to keep the app open? So yeah, I mean that's one of the great new features of the new Analyse 2 app, is that it doesn't need to be on the main, on the active screen on your smart device. It can be in the background and it will still continue to run. It won't disconnect like it did in the current, or actually it's the old Analyse app now, the Blue Dot app. So certainly one of the most convenient new features of the new one there. So if you're using the app and you get a phone call and really need to take it, and you're not going to stop your program, it'll continue to run.
Yeah, you can't hard close the app, but you can move it to the background. If you hard close the app, then that shuts off the Bluetooth connection to your Healy or MagHealy.
Yeah, it's not like the Healy 2 app where you can like hard close it and that program will continue to run until it's done. But yeah, just leave it in the background and you'll be okay. And when you pull it back to the main active screen, you'll see how much time is left there.
Yeah, differentiating between what hard closed and just inactive. It's important to understand, because people not sure what that means. And when it comes to hard closing apps, if you don't know what that means, then you probably have too many apps playing in the background of your smart device right now. So I highly recommend you go to YouTube and search how to hard close apps on your smart device, because it's a good idea not to have all these things running in the background when you're doing your Healy work, just so you have resources from your smart device, to do the work you want to do. So anyway, I would look at how to do that. Let's see. Here's one. Izzy asks, let's see. Is it okay to place your MagHealy on top of an iPad or iPhone while sending it remotely through a pick on device? So the MagHealy is not going to interfere with your smart device, whether it's your iPhone, iPad, Android device, whatever. It's not going to interfere with that device. So yeah, if you're doing things remotely and you're looking at quantum entanglement between someone on the other end, say you're on a phone call or a Zoom call or something, and someone's on the other end of this conversation, and you're sending things via the smart device over the speaker, right, through your smart device, through the airwaves to the other end, and they're receiving. Understand that the MagHealy is sending magnetic energy. Magnetic energy is omnidirectional and universal. It does have a maximum transmission distance, for the magnetic energy, but the intention energy, that's a whole nother ball game of what we can do. There's getting to be more and more studies, by the way, out there. It's just hard to prove remote content because of influence and environment. It's hard to do these studies. Where these studies are actually focusing on is the change in the body's systems, tissues, and chemistry by a specific influence or procedure. So if we're doing remote healing with someone, and there's no other modalities except for this, and between the time you started and the time you ended, and then you're measuring certain biologicals within the body, you can kind of get some case study information. But that's ongoing in terms of proving this. But kind of like to Izzy's point, sending this information through the microphone on your smart device, those microphones have a frequency range within the audible. However, the camera has a different range within the visual light. So depending on the frequencies you're transmitting. Again, quantum entanglement is boundless. All right. What else we got? Any new ones? Let's see here. Some more confirmation that there's some slight differences in the transmission times between the old app and the new app. That'd be good to know. I mean, maybe there were corrections. Now they're more accurate.
Yeah, I'll follow up on that. Certainly, there's no reason to think that it got worse. If anything, it's probably an improvement over the ones in the past. So
yeah, I like thinking corrections or improvements.
Yeah.
Okay, so as he says, yeah, not the microphone, but through the quantum entanglement, through picture. Yes, so yeah, anything that has some tangible content of a person or a thing, an energetic client, if it's on one end of anything, one end of your thought, if you're thinking about someone in another part of the country or the world, and they all of a sudden call you, that's quantum entanglement. So if we as a host on one end of a conversation put all of our attention on a client on the other end of a conversation, and we're sending content from our Healy, our MagHealy, our radio, or whatever, we're sending content through our mind into another person, there's going to be an influence. There's going to be an influence. So that's how quantum entanglement works. We can't discount the power of our minds anymore. I'm sorry. I speak about epigenetics and the 800,000 cells per second, which are happening, reorganizing in your body all day, every day. And that 97% of the genetic code is adaptive, reading the environment. And a big portion of the environment is how you think and feel. And so if it's us influencing 97% of the adaptive code and we have some disorder, we can't blame that on something outside of us, right? We can't say, well, it's your fault that I've got this disorder. We have to take responsibility for this epigenetic influence over these bodies, over this health, over this state of being that we are. And it's time that we take that responsibility, because you give your power away to some other thing or some other person, especially when you think that other person is harming you. There's an allowance for another person to harm us. And this is taking responsibility for that.
And we only have a few minutes left. I know we'll see what other questions come in here, but I just put a link into the chat here. Some of you probably already have taken this, so appreciate that. But we have a survey regarding all of our different meetings and events that we have going on. You know, we had a good amount, and then in June we added a whole new series with these Momentum Mondays and these one-on-one business and product and some of our all these different, there's a lot of trainings going on right now, but we want to get everyone's feedback to kind of see which ones everybody likes, which ones we want to do more of, which times are convenient, which days are convenient, to kind of help us plan this going forward. I know for a lot of people, they see all these meetings, well, that's too many. The intent for us is not that you need to attend every single one of the meetings that we have. We have something for everybody, and you can pick the ones that you want to attend, whether you're interested in building a business or just on the product or just a beginner or have some more detailed information, or there's certainly something available for everybody, but we want to know which ones to focus on going forward. So if you have a few minutes, either after this call or later this week, we would certainly appreciate it if you can take that survey, because we take all the feedback very seriously, because we want to have the most relevant content for everybody. So.
Absolutely. Hopefully there is something for everybody. And if you find something valuable out there, by the way, that you find is just valuable for yourself, if it's valuable for you, it's over 7 billion people on this planet. It's probably valuable for others as well. Share it. Share it. Sharing is caring. We hear that all the time, right?
That's right.
Share it. Rita says it was highly informative. Thank you so much. Truly appreciate you. Thank you. Your words of gratitude are wind in my sails. That's for sure. Thank you guys. Appreciate that. And yeah, if you can't make them live, this is why there's recordings, and Jake's team does an amazing job of categorizing all that and putting it all in order so you can see by question, by topic. So I love it. All right. A few minutes left. Anybody got something else? By the way, yeah, thank you, Anthony, for being here. So much appreciate you in the background there. We know you're here. We feel you. Let's see. By the way, we're always looking at attendance and what people find value in. And if attendance is low and there's no value, then, putting the efforts in continuing it may not be a ongoing thing. Right. So you guys determine what stays on in broadcast and what stays online or not.
Yeah.
Yes, by the way, if you found content that was useful in the chat, and I thank the audience also for participating in answering questions and giving suggestions. It's always great to have this mastermind. It's not just us, it's you guys too that are adding to the value here. So if you want to save the chat, down at the bottom where you type in your chat, there's 3 little dots. Click on that. It's the more button. Click on that. It'll pop up an option to save chat at the end of this call. All right. And it'll pop up on your screen. If you're on your PC or laptop, you'll be able to save that to the hard drive. All right. Lightning round. Last question. I have a new device and can't join Healy USA on Telegram. It says it's a private group, and is this still yes, it's still there. So you have a new device and it won't let you go in. What is your name that's on there? Are you registered the same? Because it should be the same account, by the way. If you were on there from some other device, it's the same account. You're essentially logging into it. You can go to your computer if you need to, log in, see what your account looks like, and then go to your smart device, do the same thing. If you're logged in somewhere, you should be able to get on any device. It's still a good group to be in because that's where we place all our announcements.
Yeah, almost every day of the week, of the weekday at least, there's some sort of announcement about meeting or promo or training or something.
So Balance Wellness, whoever you are, if you would maybe send me a private message with how I can connect with you and I can help see if we can get you in that group, wherever the struggle is here, we can figure it out. I'm an admin in that group as well, so we'll see what we can do. Thank you, Lindley, for posting the replays in your groups. We really appreciate that, to spread the news as much as possible. You can also spread the news around the YouTube channel, so they have access to all the different calls for the Healy for Beginners and Beyond, our Frequencies and Friends, all those different calls that we do. That's a great resource to have. So, so I'm not sure who Balanced Wellness is. Send me a private message, or if we're connected and on some of the other social medias, whatever, let me know who you are and I can help you with that telegram. All right. If not this week, we'll do it again next week. All right, you guys. Hey, thanks, Jake. Thanks, Anthony. Thanks, audience. Super appreciate you guys. And we'll see you again next week.
Thank you.